Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is Cutler. I'm Cutler, and we are here on the Let's Talk to Cutler program, the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. It is December the 10th already. Can you all believe that? I'm going to take a sip of this tea very quickly. Excuse me. It's December the 10th, and we are here. And you know how we go. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast, the Let's Talk to Cutler show. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm excited about our conversation tonight. I really am. So as you're coming on in, why don't you do me a favor? Go ahead and do a thumbs up on the conversation, do a like on the chat to say to YouTube, hey, I like what this guy's talking about and that you enjoy the conversation. As you all know, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm here for only 1,800 seconds, and we are basing our conversation on my last book, Billboards to Better, right? There are 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. 366 because I included leap year, right? If you don't have it, run on over to Amazon.com and get it. You can go over to my website, gbcutler.com, and get it as well. Again, I'm so honored that you're going to share whatever space you're sharing, whether it's your living room, your dining room, your kitchen, your bedroom, your car, the family room, the den, the back porch, the front porch. Thank you for sharing that space with me. I don't take it for granted. I'm thankful. I give thanks for you. In just a moment, I'm going to shout out our LTTC VIPs for the evening. I'm going to shout them out, but you all know how we do. Every Tuesday, we are here and we read our quotes from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Every Thursday, we read our quotes from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday, you know what I say, it's all day your way. Use that quote for a source of conversation starter, a part of your meditation, whatever you choose to do with it. Just do something with the quote, all right? This is good stuff that we're sharing, good stuff that we're talking about. If it is your first time here, I am so thankful that you decided to join our conversation. I say to people, I'm really just trying to help save your life. So thank you for joining this conversation. Do me a favor, if it's your first time, go ahead and do a thumbs up on the conversation, but also go ahead and subscribe. Do a subscribe to the conversation. And then when you see that bell down there, click on that bell. It lets you know whenever I'm live. It lets you know whenever I've uploaded new content. So let me go ahead and shout out our LTTC VIPs for the evening. They are Roselia Davis, Andy Cutler, and Sonia Bailey. And a big shout out. Would you all say hello to our first time live in the chat, Tim Taylor? So you all make him feel really good. Thank you so much for joining. This is good to see you here. And each day, each Tuesday and Thursday, we're here for motivation and inspiration. My goal is to make sure that when we leave this conversation feeling charged, and we leave this conversation feeling better than we did when we came into it, all right? So we're gonna grab a few quotes from my last book. We're gonna talk about those quotes, but we're gonna see how they challenge us to be better. I'm always looking for people to join the ride along the highway of life so I can be better. All right. So again, it's good to see all of you all. Don't forget to do a thumbs up, like the conversation, and make sure that you chat in the conversation and say hi to all of those who are visiting our conversation for the first time. All right. Today is December the 10th. So that means we're going to take a look at December 19th and 11th. Let's go ahead and get started, you all. December the 9th, our quote says, "The thing that God does for you today will get you through tomorrow." The thing that God does for you today will get you through tomorrow. And I want to give you the backstory, the behind the scenes look in terms of what was going on in my mind when I wrote that. This is one of those quotes that gives me a reason to always have gratitude in my heart. This quote helps me to always be thankful. It's one of those quotes that reminds me to count my blessings, no matter how small or how insignificant they might seem to others. But it helps me to realize that a blessing is a blessing is a blessing. And I'll tell you all this story. When I was a little boy, we used to have these toys, these things that are called sparklers. They were called sparklers. And we would set them on fire and we would jump around and we would yell and scream and we would play until the fire just finally fizzled out. Does anybody remember sparklers other than me? But as long as they were burning, as long as these sparklers were burning, we were excited and we were happy. But the moment they would fizzle out, so would our laughter. And when I became an adult, you all, I realized that so many other things in life were like the sparkler. When they started glowing, when they started glowing, we were happy. As long as they were sparkling, we were happy. But the moment they were no longer sparkling, the moment they were no longer glowing, the moment everything seemed to die down, so did our happiness, so did our joy, and so was the excitement, and so did our gratitude. Take, for instance, sometimes how we will go on vacation. And why do we go on vacation? We'll go on vacation so that we can rest and relax and recharge. But as soon as the vacation is over, I don't know about you all, but I know for me so many times, as soon as the vacation is over, so is my rest, so is my relaxation, and so are my efforts to recharge. It's back to the drawing board, back to the grind, back to the routine, back to the status quo. It's all over. And there are a lot of what I call one and done or one use only kind of moments in life. And I go back to my childhood once again, and I think about so many moments when I wanted to make those moments last. Has anybody ever felt those moments when, unlike the sparklers that fizzled out, you wanted to make those moments last? And one of those moments that continues to baffle me is something that some of my friends would do. Let's say, so when I think about I see some of you say, yes, I remember the sparklers. But one of the things that would baffle me when I think about this one use only kind of thing, now, I didn't do it, but some of my friends, they would chew gum. And chewing gum and bubble gum when I was growing up, it was a no-no. You couldn't do it in church, you couldn't do it in a classroom, and you could barely do it inside the house. But when we were at school, some of my friends would chew gum, and they didn't want to just have a one use only kind of practice with the gum. So they would chew the gum, and then they would put the gum, they would stick it behind their ears because they wanted more than one use. I never did that. My mom was in the chat room, so I want you to know I never did that. But when I wrote this quote, you all, it was based on the realization that God has never given me anything that was for one use only. Never. Never has he given me anything that was for one day only, or that was for one moment only, or that was for 1 hour only. Whatever God has given me, whatever God has done for me, it has always been enough to propel me into my future. Whatever he has given me now is good enough to get me to my next. So every now that God has given me has prepared me for a next that is to come in my life. Because if he gives me anything that's tangible, along with that tangible thing comes what I call an intangible benefit. The intangible benefits, and these intangible benefits will give you a lifetime of thank yous. So I stopped and I started thanking God and thinking about all the intangible benefits for everything that he has ever given me. I'm telling you, so if he heals me today, it would give me a lifetime to thank him for being a healer. I know it. God may have blessed us with a house or a car or a job, but whatever he blesses me with today, it gives me a lifetime to thank him for being the God who supplies all of my needs according to his riches and glory. Every single thing he does, every single thing that he gives, none of it comes with a one use only policy. None of it. It gives me a lifetime of opportunities to say thank you. I know if he lifts my head and my heart today, it gives me a lifetime to thank him for peace and to thank him for joy. I know, God, you woke me up today, but I've got a lifetime of thank yous for grace and for mercy. Thank you that my blessings and our blessings, you all, don't just come with this one use only kind of instructions. We can always give thanks because whatever we get today is going to prepare us and propel us into a next that is coming tomorrow. So I'm going to tell you all what I do. I will carry all of my intangible benefits with me for a lifetime. I'm telling you. I understand more and more the lyrics of the song that says, when I merely think of his goodness and all that he's done for me. Because if he gives me a thing, he also gives me a think. Good God Almighty. If he gives me a thing, he gives me a think, an opportunity, the capacity to think about and to remember the thing that he gave me. So everything he gives me comes along with the think as well. I know it. I'm telling you all, in this season of Thanksgiving and this Yuletide season, where we can sometimes become so depressed and so discouraged, I'm telling you, with everything that you've ever received, you also have a think. And more importantly, sometimes in the thing, think about it. Think about who gave it to you. Think about why it was given, how it was given, and the very source of it. And you will always have what I call a tank full of gratitude. You have a tank full of gratitude. And I'm telling you all, it is not difficult for my gratitude tank to stay on full because it's true. He's done so much for me, I just can't tell it all. And when you are filling up, I want to share this with you all tonight. When you are filling up your gratitude tank, you've got to be intentional about keeping negativity away. And you say to the negativity, you got to have a conversation sometimes with the negativity, and you say to the negativity, give me just a moment to deal with you. After I have filled up my gratitude tank, then you let me know, negativity, if you have the nerve to try to come back and rain on my gratitude party. I want to share this with you all tonight. This is how we handle this season where we're sitting, where we're being, where we're showing up, and where we are living. Always make sure I'm every single day, fill up your gratitude tank. And you've got to learn to talk back to negativity just like you're talking to a person. You really do. Learn to have a conversation with doubt just like you're talking to a person. Learn to have a conversation with anything and anybody that chooses to rain on your parade of gratitude and your opportunity to take a moment to give thanks. And I promise you, I'm just sharing with you all from a part of my practice, a part of what I do. I promise you that by the time you finish having a conversation, by the time you finish having a conversation with discontent and dismay and despondency and discouragement and depression and any of those D things, the one D thing that you will always have is the ability to dance into a new day. Why? Because you will realize that what God gave you is enough to get you to tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I just don't mean 24 hours to today from today, but I mean every tomorrow that is yet to come in your life. I'm telling you all, the thing that he does for you today, it'll get you through tomorrow. All right. You all know how I do this. Only 1,800 seconds that I have to share with you. So I want to make each moment matter, each minute meaningful, and every second significant. So let's go on to December 10th. I will quote for December 10th, which is today. All right. Again, we're reading from this book, Billboards to Better. December 10th, the quote says, you are never expected to give what you haven't been empowered to get. Know what is in your arsenal. You are never expected to give what you have not been empowered to get. It is a matter of knowing what is in your arsenal. And I'll share this with you all. I was recently in a conversation with a young lady about communication. And I'm reminded that you can't do what you don't know how to do, and you can't give what you have never gotten. Many of you know that I grew up in the country and I grew up on the water. So let me see if I can give an example from just my upbringing and from my life. It would be foolish of me to ask one of my neighbors or someone to go and get me a dozen of blue crabs if they didn't know how to catch crabs. It would be foolish of me to ask you for a few croakers and spots and mullets and trouts, and that's making me hungry. But it would be foolish of me to ask you for that if you didn't know how to fish. And it wouldn't quite make sense for me to ask you for some fresh tomatoes and okra and cucumbers or squash if you didn't know how to grow a garden. And I really want to help us tonight, you all. You will relieve yourself of so much frustration and so much anxiety if we just stop asking people to do the things that they don't have the ability to produce. Stop asking people to give us the things that they don't have the ability to produce. I'll tell you all, I'll share this with you. One of the most freeing, one of the most sobering, and one of the most emancipating moments of my life was when I realized that I had been asking people for things that they did not have the ability or the capacity to produce. And you're going to understand why it's freeing and why it's sobering and why it's emancipating. But when I realized I had been asking people to give me something that they were not able to produce, it was a sobering moment when I realized that. I would tell you this, not that I am the greatest communicator in the world, not that I am the greatest conflict resolver, but one of the things that I had looked to, one of the things that I had looked for in communication was the ability to analyze and to break down and to deconstruct just in a regular conversation. Cutler, who does that? But that's what I was looking for. And I wanted people to respond to me the same way, sometimes using the same words that I would have used when I spoke to them. And what did I do, you all? I ignored their ability to communicate however they could and or would. So I ignored their ability to communicate how they did based on their ability because I imposed my ability on them. You all, we do it so many times, but I want to help us tonight. I want to motivate and challenge us. It didn't make their communication any less or any more, any better or any worse than mine. It simply made it different. And I had to recognize that people were only able to communicate within the context of their ability, the same way that I was able to do the same thing within the context of my ability. Another example, I've always been real big on blood ties and family relationships. So guess what, you all? I would love on family members, and I would want them to love me and respond to me in the same way that I wanted them to. Who does that? Me. I don't know about you all, but I did that. I wanted them to love me like I wanted them to. And I did not take into consideration, my Lord, this is helping me as I recall this. I did not take into consideration their ability to show love within the range of their ability to do so. I realize, you all, we do it so many times. We hold people to a level of capacity and ability without really thinking about what they're capable of doing. Why do we do it? Because we do it from our own situated perspective in terms of this is what I'm able to do, so you should be able to do the same thing. Not necessarily. We do that to people all the time, all the time, all of the time, you all. And for as much as I think that I'm a nice person, when it comes to communicating with me and loving me, what I realized is that I lacked compassion. True confessions from Let's Talk to Cutler tonight. I realized that I lacked compassion because what I realized is that you cannot hold people accountable for something that they are not able to produce. You cannot hold people accountable for giving something that they cannot produce. And that was one of the most difficult, but one of the most freeing lessons of my life. Because when you gain compassion, you gain the ability to forgive people for what they are incapable of producing. When you gain compassion, you gain the ability to forgive people for what they are incapable of producing. So again, you all, as I'm counting my blessings during this season, I'm thankful that God never expected anything out of me that He had not given me the ability to produce. What am I saying, you all? We are all expected to love God and to treat our fellow human beings with dignity and respect. So, one of the things that I'm offering, one of my offerings tonight, one of the things that I'm giving to you is the reality of what you are capable of producing. The reality of what you are capable of producing. So the next time you go and you write your resume and you get to that section that deals with what is it called? Skills and qualifications. Don't forget to include your ability to do what? You have the ability to produce love. You have the ability to produce forgiveness. You have the ability to produce compassion. You have the ability to produce hope and peace. Some of us, I'm telling you all. So what I'm offering? I'm offering the ability to produce hope. Some of us have the ability, the capability to produce hope because you can take a situation and help somebody see the light in the midst of darkness. Your ability to produce hope. You have the ability to produce peace. It could be chaos all around. And you might have the capacity to speak a word that will soothe the savage beast. So what I offer you is the gift of realizing what you are capable of producing. And in this day and age, when it looks like so many things have dried up, your ability to produce has not dried up. What color can I produce? You can produce peace and hope and joy and love, contentment, compassion, all of those things. So the quote says, you are never expected to give what you haven't been empowered to get. Know what's in your arsenal. And as an anecdote, I wrote, sometimes God gives you the gift, but other times he gives you the ability to get the gift. All right. You all know I only have 1,800 seconds. They're dwindling down. So I need to go on to our quote for December the 10th. Again, I hope that you all are enjoying this conversation. Again, please go ahead and do a thumbs up if you have not done so. And we're going to go over to our quote for December 11th. Very short, but it says, the mercy of God will always baffle the carnal mind. The mercy of God will always baffle the carnal mind. Do you all remember being a child and perhaps you did something wrong? Maybe you broke something. I don't know. If you're like me and my brothers, sometimes maybe you broke something or you just did something wrong. And, or maybe you did something you shouldn't have done. And the only thing you could think of, I know we would think, ooh, mama's going to get you. Because you know that you did something wrong. Mom or daddy's going to get you because you knew you were wrong. But does anybody remember having a different experience because mama or daddy just brushed it off and really didn't give it as much energy as you thought they would have? I mean, you dropped the crystal glass that mama's grandmother had given her, and you just knew you were in trouble. But mama simply responded, accidents happen. Can any of you all remember doing something wrong and you were thinking, or maybe your parents said, now the next time you do that, I'm going to get you. The next time you say that, the next time I hear you say that, or the next time I see you do that, I'm going to get you. And guess what, you all? They didn't have to wait until the next time, but they chose to offer mercy. And it baffles the carnal mind. It baffles the carnal mind how we can sometimes, how we get a lifetime of those statements. Statement that simply says, now the next time you do this, or the next time you do that. I know we sing a song. Here we go back to another song, right? I know we sing the song and we quote the psalm that says, his mercy is everlasting. But it still baffles me in my humanity how we don't extend the very thing that we get. We get it all the time, but we don't want to give the very thing that we get. And the concept of mercy will always baffle. That's what I wrote. The concept of mercy will always baffle the carnal mind, is because I don't get the judgment. I don't get the punishment that I know I deserve. And so what I always seek to do is to understand those kinds of things on a different level. And in order to understand those things on a different level, here we go, y'all. I'm getting ready to challenge and motivate us to go somewhere else. In order to understand those things on a different level, it means that we have to raise our minds to a higher plateau. No, we will never fully understand the concept of mercy or grace, but to have some insight into how it has been applied to our lives, what do we need to do? Let's raise our thinking. Let's raise our minds to another plateau. And as we are, here we go, you all, as we are driving down this highway together, we're in this highway together. Let's challenge and let's motivate each other to go higher in our thinking. Because if you go higher, you force and pull me up to a little bit higher. So let's go higher in our responses to people. Let's go higher in our assessments of ourselves. And let's go higher in our abilities to demonstrate what character and what integrity truly look like. Let's go higher. My offering from this particular quote tonight is the ability to go higher, to think higher, and to live higher. I want to thank you all because we are in the throes of sharing these 1800 seconds. And I want to end by doing something that I always do. I want to end by sharing this with you. We're talking about going higher. I want to read to you this poem. In fact, I want to read two poems. This one is called Wanting More. This particular poem is in my second book, Thoughts Keep Flowing, and it says, every day I find myself loving that which causes me to hate, despising that which causes me to admire, breaking that which causes me to mend. Each day I find myself clinging that which causes me to lose, upholding that which causes me to bow, withstanding that which causes me to kneel. Day after day, I find myself rejecting that which gives me hope, ignoring that which gives me peace, desiring that which gives me grace, wanting more. And again, that is in my second book. I hope you all enjoy that poem, but I want to share something else with you. Just a little bit more as we close up these 1800 seconds on the Let's Talk to Cutler platform here on December the 10th. This poem is titled When the Rain Returns. It's not recorded in any of my books because I wrote it this summer. And so here I am sharing it with you before it ever goes to print. It says, when the rain returns, I looked around, and this is an homage to you all for joining me on these Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is my way of saying thank you for sharing this space with me each Tuesday and Thursday. When I show up, I'm so thankful that you are here with me. When the rain returns, I looked around, and here you came, forced inside from the pouring rain. Just when I thought my home was too small, I remembered that my heart could hold us all. All in his hands, we reminded ourselves that we were each responsible for somebody else. Somebody to love and somebody to lead, somebody to reach during the strange time of need. If we ever needed you before, the time is surely now. If we've loved the wrong way, please remind us how. So we don't always get it right. No, not the very first time. And when we're overwhelmed, it seems to be all in our mind. Give us the mind to rid our souls of strife. Give us the eyes to see the billboards along the highway of life. Give us, dear God, just one more chance to go outside in the rain where together we will dance. Give me a dance, one that will never end. Give me the time to dance with all of my friends. I want to thank you all so much for sharing this space with me. Wherever space you have allowed me to share with you, I'm thankful and I'm humbled. It's been 1800 seconds on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. Please make sure that you join me here next Tuesday. And until then, keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, stay safe, stay sane. Let's continue building community and maintaining connectivity. Until then, my love to you all. Good night.